Hardland just got updated. Hardland just dropped a pretty significant update. They've actually had 2 or 3 since my last review, but they were mostly billed as graphic updates and optimizations, so my enthusiasm was limited, particularly since my criticisms about the game weren't anything to do with the graphics, but on the gameplay. The graphics are pretty cool. It's the gameplay that blows on it. So after this latest update, I checked back on it. In many ways, the game has been improved on tremendously since my last review. The very first thing I did, I have to admit, was begin random attacks on the townspeople to see if that aspect of the game had been fixed. Believe it or not, I was very pleased to see that the guards react to your harming and robbing the townspeople. This is such a step up for immersiveness. The town actually feels like a place where these people live, as opposed to a random collection of buildings in the middle of a wide spot in the road. They've also added a little healing tile in town so you can get healed without using healing items, which is really nice. It's always a pain in the ass to use up half your backpack worth of healing items when you're sitting in town doing nothing. It's ridiculous. So that's a major step up in my opinion. There's also some little in-town adventures to have. They've also added some cool statues and other decorations to make it look like a real town. Again, a place where people live as opposed to just decoration. You'll notice that the main character isn't centered on the screen anymore, but instead he's slightly to the left. I didn't realize any kind of significance to this until I got into a fight. That little change really helps in targeting. I'm no longer swinging wildly in front of myself during the fight, missing all the time. It's a lot less of a pain in the ass. They've also adjusted combat a little bit so it doesn't feel nearly as floaty as it did before. It's a lot less frustrating right now. It's actually fun to fight in this game. The inventory screen looks way better. There's graphic tiles for all of your objects in your pack instead of this horrible plain Jane laundry list of possessions. Thumbs up to that. That improvement is amazing. The graphics look a little less like claymation characters now. I mean, they looked fantastic before, but now they look even more incredible. And when you walk on squishy ground, it raises up dirt clods and stuff. That effect actually looks better in the snow. During my gameplay, I didn't manage to get a recording of the snow. You can see it a little bit here in the swamplands, but the effect looks better in the snow. There's no two ways about it. This swamplands, it looks kind of like you're walking through dung, so maybe that needs to be changed a little bit. Trading with merchants is still kind of a pain. It doesn't show how much each of your items is worth before you sell them. And some of the shit you end up with is worthless. I really would like to see something to do with the worthless crap, but maybe that's part of a future update. The pathfinding for the guards and merchants is shit. They all end up wandering into the river here, and they can't get out. Check this out, it's hilarious. In the middle of town, there's, 3 guards and a merchant just kind of wandering under the bridge here like hobos. But the one thing that keeps me from telling you to pull the trigger and pick this game up, the one thing, is that they seem to be moving away from the interesting, procedurally generated maps that I really liked in the previous build. The game's now just a chain of pre-generated maps linked together with these portals here. There doesn't seem to be any exploring anymore. It's just unbelievable. So I hate to say it, but I still can't recommend it. While a lot has been improved, I mean, the combat is way better. The random mapping seems to have gone away, and they fixed a lot while getting rid of one of the game's biggest strengths. So, not sure what they're doing, but at this point, I'd still hold off. Unless, as usual, you like what you see and you want to support the developers, then pull the trigger on it. Otherwise, as a game, I just can't recommend it at this point. We're moving backwards on the procedurally generated maps, and it's no good.
Ah!